want Rob Harper to come up here. Would you do that? Here's a microphone right here. Let's give Rob a big hand. All right, here we go. We're going to see if we can get this thing on. Is it on? Test 1, 2. Hello, hello. All right. I don't know how many, a lot of you have been here for a little while, you know Rob. But how long has it been since your mom came that night?
4 years and a couple months. It was April 11th,
okay.
2010.
All right, April 11th, 2010. All right, here's what happened. We're here on a Wednesday night, a mother and a stepfather.
Yes, sir.
They came in because they got word, because Rob had been in an alcoholic coma for 10 days, right? And the doctor told him he's not going to make it. He's not turning the corner, all right? So they come. Actually, what did the doctor tell them to do that day?
He told them to go ahead and make burial arrangements, that he took a turn for the worse, and so they did. They went and made burial arrangements and had it all paid for, ready to go. The next day I was supposed to be buried.
But God. Amen? So we just called upon the God who's able to do anything. Because what our Bible says, that with God all things are possible. And so we just asked God, would you intervene and would you heal and bring him out of that coma? The next morning he came out of the coma. All right? So 3 weeks later on a Wednesday night, he came to church. He had atrophy and different things. And actually your liver was...
I had to have a liver transplant to live. They weren't giving me 3 months.
Okay.
Tops.
So liver wasn't working. It's gone. He comes 3 weeks later on a Wednesday night just to tell the people thank you that we're here. The next night we got him in a care group. It was actually Sheila's care group. Got him in a care group, and that night, what happened?
I gave my heart to Jesus.
Gave his heart to Jesus, okay? Now, then he goes back to the doctor a month later, and what did the doctor say about your liver?
It was several months later, but he said, you must have angels following you because you don't need a transplant to live now. You can live on your own liver.
Amen. Now look, now I'm telling you, God sees Rob as important with a destiny, right? Everybody else will look and say, man, that's an old alcoholic, his liver's gone, and he should have died in that alcoholic coma, because the doctor told him, don't even breathe on alcohol, and if you do, you're going to die, all right? Yep. So he did, and you almost died, all right? But so God restores his liver, right? And then God began to do a work on you, because you actually were doing the same thing. You became steady church member. You were here.
Every day.
Yep.
Every time I had a chance. Every Wednesday, I didn't know you had care groups, but I'd come to listen to Miss Lisa sing, and I'd just turn around and go home, because I didn't know you had care groups. I just wanted to be a part of the church any way I could, every time it was open.
Yeah. So here every Sunday, every Wednesday.
Yes, sir.
And then how long ago was it that you had talked to me about asking me about starting a group?
Oh, it's funny. It was about 2 years ago, I guess, because I would listen to the pastor talk about everyone has a ministry and everyone's a saint and saints and sinners and stuff. And I always thought about it until I got to the Beltway. And then the Beltway, it seemed like it went out the window about asking you about starting a group here. And they'll never want to do that. Just forget it. And I'd go on home about my business. And then finally I asked you, thought if I ask him, he's going to say no. And then it takes the pressure off me and I'm good. So, but it didn't work that way.
and you asked me, and what did we say?
You said pray on it.
Yeah.
And the next Sunday you called me up in front of everybody and said, there it is. And so there it is.
All right. All right. So we, with God using him, we have a ministry called All About Recovery.
Yes, sir.
All right. And so some of you, if you're struggling with addiction or whatever, he can relate, and he's someone who can help you. All right. Why? Because he has a God design, he has a destiny. Because God takes all things and he works them together for good. What the devil meant for destruction, God works for good. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Now, let me tell you, this is the latest, because this was last Wednesday night, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, so he enrolled in college, but the problem with that was, what did the doctor said? What did they call your brain?
I had a wet brain. When they came the next day to pull the plug, and they told my parents that I'd come out of the coma, but they said the good news was I came out of the coma. The bad news, I'd be a vegetable the rest of my life. I had wet brain.
Okay.
And it wrapped for the funny farm.
Yeah. So wet brain is what?
All the alcohol had gone to my brain, all the ammonia. So the whole time I was in the hospital intensive care, I thought I was on a cruise to Jamaica. It was lobsters for everybody.
If you're going to be in a coma, not a bad deal, all right?
Yeah. All right. I didn't have the ability to make new memories or learn anymore. I wouldn't
All right, we wouldn't have that ability. Well, he came because he wants to become a counselor, all right? And so obviously somebody with wet brains not able to go to college, so they say, right? But he let Lisa open up a letter Wednesday night, and what was in that letter?
It was my college transcript.
Yeah, and how did you do?
Made a 3.75, graduated with honors, and yeah, made 2 honor societies and an honor fraternity, and hope to be in the top 25 of my class.
There you go. Made 2 honor societies. Let me tell you something. The reason why I brought him up is because some of you are doubting. And God says, I'm going to remove all the doubt. And what God did for Rob, he's ready to do for you. Amen?
Amen.
Amen. I love you. I'm proud of you, buddy. Amen. Amen.